There you go, folks. Welcome to the show. And today we have a special guest, and his name is Glenn Trump. I don't know if I'm correct, if it's correct.
Yes. Yeah, you're pronouncing it correct. Yeah.
Glenn Trump is an anarchist, independent researcher, truth, freedom, and natural law advocate, content creator for the purpose of spreading the message of natural law, truth, and freedom. He has undertaken the task of assembling research materials in the areas of metaphysics, occultism, spirituality, symbology, and consciousness studies. In January 2019, Glenn began presenting this information in the form of a book entitled Anarchon,
Anarchos.
Anarchos,
Anarchos,
Anarchon,
yes. Yes.
Anarchos, with the intention of bringing a summary of this body of knowledge to his own children. In February 2020, he started to write thought-provoking articles in order not to explain the same things over and over again to his friends.
True.
In September 2021, Glenn began his first session, live stream question session called Eigenpad, your own
Yeah,
path.
that's the Dutch for your own path. Yes.
For your own path for the Dutch audience. Ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, welcome to Glenn Trump to the show. How you doing, Glenn?
Hi, hello, Alex. That's a nice introduction. Thank you for that.
No
How you
problem.
doing, brother?
I'm very good, thanks.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing me to the show. I
No
like it.
problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My pleasure. I think uh, you one of the few people who actually doing something and putting the word out to stop this system of slavery and tyranny taking
Yeah.
place now. Um, just quick question. How did you start? What was your process, your awakening? How did it start?
Oh, that's a
How,
nice that's a nice question, man. I started basically when I was 15 years old, 15 years of age.
wow.
But basically, I started since the moment I was born, to be honest. But I
Yeah,
always had a
that's right.
sense, yeah, I always had a sense that something is wrong, something is really wrong with the world. I couldn't understand it. So when I was 15 years old, I started going to church. Um, I was born Catholic, just as any normal boy in the Caribbean. And I have transitioned to what is called the charismatic movement, which is a
Same,
Christian
same
movement
here.
in
Yeah.
Pentecostal churches and those kind of things. I had a lot of pastor friends. So this is how I started, and I was starting reading the Bible. I was very good at it. I just dig into the Bible as much as possible because you have to understand where I come from, which is Curacao, which is a part in the Netherlands, Antilles.
Mm.
So you can find it.
Anthony's,
Yeah, it's like 40 kilometers away from Caracas, Venezuela. So it's very close
Venezuela.
to
Oh yeah, the
yeah,
islands.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
islands there. Yeah. So you have to understand that these islands and even South America is very religious
yeah,
in
yeah.
so automatically you will someone will say, hey, can you come to church and let's go and seek God. And so for me that was very intriguing because I was looking for the answer anyway. Okay, so but when I came there, it like the worms, that the things that I mean, I appreciate that the time and the knowledge that I could have gained from that experience, but in order to grow, you have to really go past to that because that is a
Sure.
very limited world there. It's a very limited way of thinking and a very limited way. In fact, it's an enslaving way of in many sense. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So they are more geared towards controlling the individual than they are really trying to bring them to divinity. To bring them to God in a sense. But
Exactly.
so my journey started 15 years of age and starting digging into these into the occult world, basically, because even though it's the Bible, but you still have to interpret it, and then you will get like, I was starting to read the Bible, and then I didn't understand much of it, if at all. And then a word came to me, which is hermeneutics. I don't know if you heard this word. Hermeneutics is basically the way you interpret the Bible. So
Oh
they
yeah, I
really,
remember. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So they really use,
The ancient language. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but they really use the word hermeneutics. So I find it very intriguing. So why they use that word hermeneutics? So this is how I started to, go in deep into, because hermeneutics come from the word Hermes. And
Hermes. Yeah.
Hermes, yeah, Hermes,
Hermetic. Yeah,
yeah,
hermetic.
from a Hermetic tradition. So it's a Hermes
Hermetic. Yes.
Trismegistus. So these type of, things came into my path, and that basically, catapult me into a whole new world of knowledge, and a whole new world of occult knowledge even. And especially, at that time, I was a little bit very scared, because this knowledge, it's not, if you hear the word occult, right? People like, you know especially Christians, they have a little bit of, I think it's like kind of like a devil thing out there. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
right.
so I wasn't really like confident of going really, really deep into it. But I started to scratch the surface, started to read about it a little bit more. I started to get, information from other people, other Christian people, explaining these occult things even. So, but it wasn't a really good way of doing it, because they're giving their own twist on the things, instead of giving it an objective, perspective on the matter. So they really take it into the, they really mix it into with their religion. Let's put it that way. And but at least I had somewhere to start. Yeah, at least I had somewhere somehow. And then, but that is how I started. Now, like, you can even say almost 20 years later, I am I am way deeper than I started before. So if you would ask me like 20 years ago, would I've been here? I would say absolutely not. I would swear by all the gods. I would even say that I wouldn't abandon the traditional religious thought process. But I mean, everyone has his own path. That's why I call my show eigen pad, which is Dutch for your own way.
Your own
Because
way. Oh,
yeah, because
interesting.
even though the principles are the same for all of us, we have a shared reality.
Yeah,
We experience. We all have our own experience, so that we go through life in our own way.
that's
And
right.
yes, and the only thing that I wanted to do is just you know give you the guide, a thing that I did not have when I was younger. I am providing now for the much broader audience. So tell them the basic concept. Basically, I'm initiating people online. So if you know what initiating is
Yeah,
telling people what things like concepts such as spirit, what is really about, what is
that's right.
love, what is that really about, what is the occult, what can we do with this knowledge, how can this knowledge transforms us, because we cannot be transformed in any way if we don't understand. Transformation happens the moment you start understanding. Then
So
transformation happens. If somebody kind of like push it or force you to do something, you will not really change. You will maybe do it because that person is forcing you to do it, but you're not really changing internally. So my focus and my purpose is more on the real transformation of the human being. So I'm giving you the tools, the ways, throughout, giving you all this knowledge throughout history. You know, so you
that's
can
right.
choose. So you can choose the way you want to be transformed, because it's all about you. It's all about the transformation of your consciousness, of you as a human being. So that is how basically I started and grew up. In the beginning, I was really not intended to, you know, not even starting a show, not even creating a website, let alone starting a show. You know, let
That's right.
alone starting a podcast, and let alone starting a show, because now I have a show as well. So in the beginning, it was really about um, learning for myself. Then I said, when the deeper I went into it, the more I realized, like, damn, this information really needs to be available also for my sons, because I have only boys. So
Sure.
at this moment, this is the only thing I have, the only boys. So I said, I want to give this knowledge. I want them to know how to, choose right behavior over wrong
Wrong
behavior.
behaviors. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
Absolutely.
I want them to have the objective, the capability to understand objectively what is the difference between right and wrong behavior. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I started to summarize this, and you would understand that summarization of this knowledge is basically an impossibility, to be honest. But at least I try to bring the summary of the main things, because I didn't want to die without providing this type of knowledge to the next generation. And I was really thinking about my own generations. Okay, so and doing that, my own kids started to ask me. One of them in particular started to ask me a lot of questions, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to start creating podcasts. So when you have the same question again, you can just go to the podcast and you're re-listening to it again. So this is how it started, man. So
Wow.
and then I have friends that ask me a lot of questions, because they are starting to like people who, like, the podcast was not intended for other people, so now other people are listening to it, and then they are starting now to question as well. So now I started to create, write down articles to explain some topics that some friends of mine were asking me. And then from that, other friends listen to my podcast and read my articles. And then one of them asked me, you know what, I have a show. This is like a normal show, but I really want to bring occultism on the platform. Are you willing to do that? This is how I started iCompat. So it's like starting from really trying to explain these moral topics to my own kids. Now I'm explaining it to more than 500 people each week. So it has been
Wow.
it has been a blessing and a wild ride, I would say, to be
That's
honest.
great.
So
That's great, man. More people like us, like you, need to speak out about this system of slavery, because people, they tend to focus on the conspiracy level instead of going deeper in their understanding about how the world really works. They're talking about
yeah,
politics and the monetary machination instead of understanding it goes beyond that and going to
yeah,
the causal factor. You need to understand the causality, what caused that, the
yeah,
underlying issues. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I am very glad you brought this up, man. Yeah, that's the problem. We are so focused, and this is also a strategy to bring people to, going and call everything a conspiracy, or not even that. They think it's like, if people think even if it's a conspiracy, they're going to really focus on the effects. They're only focusing on what's happening there. And this is a very interesting thing, because in the teachings of Kabbalah, for instance, I'm going to be talking about Kabbalah extensively in the coming season, which is going to start the 20th of September.
Great.
And this month, but I'm going to be talking about Kabbalah extensively. And one of the things that the teachings of Kabbalah especially teaches us is that basically in the realm of effect, which is the physical realm what we're living in, which they
Yes,
call
sir.
Makut, which they call Malkut, or
Makut, yes.
yeah, the kingdom, right?
The
So they
kingdom,
are
yes.
trying. They are saying, if you want to change anything on this plane, like, I mean anything on this plane, you cannot do that on the same level. So you cannot do it in Malkut. So
Exactly.
the whole reason for Kabbalah is to go up into the higher realms. So you have to really start understanding the causal factor
Causal
of
factor,
fact,
yeah.
yeah, of things. So that is basically indeed one of the things that we really need to start understanding. So and So understanding this causal factor of things, it really means aligning our own behavior with those higher realms. So the first
That's
things you
right.
have to start understanding this, there are higher realms, there are higher worlds, there are things beyond our, five senses. This is like the first things that we really
This
need to start to understand.
that's
Yeah.
right. The spiritual world.
Yeah, that's what we call this, indeed the spiritual world,
Yeah.
right? And Kabbalah, like this idea, Kabbalah is one of the one of those ancient traditions that we have. We have many of those, but
Many. Yeah.
Kabbalah is one of those that in the Western world we are very accustomed to, because and in a sense we are grown with it, because we are grown. Many of us are Christians, and in the Western world, Christianity is the religion, more or less, of
Yeah.
the Western world. Yeah,
Exactly.
in general. I mean, of course, there are other religions, but in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah.
yeah. And it comes from the Christian Judeo, especially the Judeo-Christian, comes from a Jewish. That's why Judeo-Christian Jewish background.
Background. Yeah.
And yeah, and the Jewish religion itself is based on Kabbalah, which maybe many of people, and then that means as well the Christianity is based on the concepts of Kabbalah. So
Exactly. The
yeah,
golden rule, a deep
yeah,
understanding of natural law and the occult realm there. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's
So
what
this is
Jesus was.
yeah. So that is in the end exactly. So he was you can say
Anarchist.
an anarchist. Yeah, not only an anarchist, he was an occultist as well, because the whole idea of Jesus is not to worship a god or worship him as a son of God. Even the whole idea of Christ, it was to is morality. That's why
Exactly.
my focus is on morality as well on my show. So how can we become moral? So it's more like an example of how you can change your behavior, because this is what they call in the Kabbalah's world the tikkun. The tikkun is basically the changing of your own desires into a more loftier and higher one, which is the desire of the Father, the will of the Father. So it's that this transformation, this tikkun, which is the great work, right? This is something that needs to happen internally. It is not something that we should think of like, oh, we have an external God, and we can do something, and then he punishes when we are bad or rewards us
So,
and when we are good. This is not the
exactly.
way we should look at God, and neither at Christ. The way we should look at it is that we ourselves, we need to starting to develop ourselves into something better, and
That's
we can
right.
do it, in our own way, except this is the only exception, as long as we don't do harm to others. So this is basically the whole idea.
That's right.
As long as we don't do harm to others, right? Our journey can be whatever we want. But the whole idea is to transform ourselves from only wanting, to transform that wanting into giving. Like the Father is a giver, right? So we receive from Him, and then we also give. Yeah. So this is basically the whole idea. So give love, or give, those qualities, those fatherly qualities. We all have to, be the Christ, basically, become the
Exactly.
Son of God by being the God Himself. Basically, that is basically the whole idea of all occult tradition. All occult tradition is trying to answer the questions of life. So who am I? Where am I going? Those type of questions. All of occult tradition is geared towards answering those questions, and all occult traditions is geared about how do we transform ourselves inwardly. How can we become sons of God? And that is not through a saying of a kind of like a few sentences. That's not how it happens. I mean, expressing is like the start, yeah, but it is still a work to be done internally. That's why it's called the great work, because it's not that easy. People don't change. If you hate someone, how can we love someone you're hating? Those
It,
kind of, yeah.
it requires shadow work. You have
It
to work
requires,
upon yourself. You need to ask yourself deep questions and be honest with yourself. There's the
yeah,
occult initiation. Stop
Yeah,
lying to yourself. Stop dreaming.
yeah,
You need to live in the present moment.
yeah.
And yeah,
Know the
even
law, know the
know the
law,
law.
natural
Yeah,
law. Yeah, and the
natural.
last one, is don't ignore your physical body. Don't ignore
Exactly.
the physical world. The what is called malkut, right? Don't
Malkut,
ignore that.
yes.
Yeah. So it is important. So this whole idea that I'm going to pray and I'm not going to do anything, or I mean, even in the whole Bible is stated that faith without action is dead. So
Exactly.
if yeah,
It's all
so
in the
if
Bible. All
yeah,
the
because the Bible is Kabbalistic in its source, even though many of the Christians will deny this simple fact. But if they do their homework, because if you come to the conclusion you didn't do your homework right, you have to go deeper. And this is the thing
exactly
about occultism. You have to go all the way.
all
So
the way.
you have to go all the way, my friend. So that is so it is a intentional. It has to be intentional. It has to be conscious. It has, because it cannot happen accidentally. Up to
Exactly.
the point that you come in contact with the occult knowledge. Up to that point, what was before, almost everything was accidentally. So it's just, yeah, you just accidentally did something, or you desire things, and then that desire brings you to a certain path. You will start walking through the path. So let's give an example. If you start desiring for money, right? So what's the first thing you do? You start getting to know, okay, so where can I go get some work? So that is
That's
like,
right.
you everything starts from a root seed of desire, and that will bring you into this path. But up to the point that you come in contact with the occult world, everything before that was unconsciously. So you just did based on desire. But then the desire has to be more concrete if you want to go higher. If you want to reach the highest, spiritual, go to the spiritual realm. You can even say, if you want to grow and in consciousness higher, then it has to be a conscious effort. So that means that sometimes you will wake up. I don't want to read anything, but you will have to do it anyway. I don't
Okay.
want to watch anything, but you have to do it anyway. Because it has to come from the point of will. Okay. So, and this is what I wanted to explain to you. This is important, because we will have to transform desire into giving, because the father the father has a giving aspect, basically. So we have to transform something that is um, only receiving into giving. So to give an example, what I want to basically convey, basically, in this example, is that you cannot become, like, say, the son of the father if you don't become like him. This is basically, and the father is giving. He's a giver, right? So, but basically in Malkut, we are a receiver. So how can we, go around this discrepancy? Because that is the reason why people are so selfish. They only take, because that's the nature of Malkut. The nature of Malkut is,
Yeah, the judgment cards, the
yeah,
microscopic tree of
yeah,
life. Yes, yes,
get. That is
yes.
the nature.
Yeah,
That people are, that are people, egoistic people.
yeah,
That's the nature of the physical world.
yeah. Living
So
in a satanic world right
mindset,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly, Satanism. Yeah,
yeah. But well, Satanism even goes even further in the giving aspect, right?
exactly.
So basically, Satanism is only selfish,
Me,
me. Yeah, that's
ego
it.
out of control.
Ego.
It's
Yeah,
all about you, and not even
you.
not
So
even at them to about other people. Yeah,
yeah, so what you're saying about Satanism, it's true. Satanism is basically the extreme of the me, give me, give me, give me, is the extreme of it. So where we need to come, we have to come to a point of balance, to where we're not only getting, but that we are also giving, because we have to start um, um, basically emulating the divinity itself. So we have to start emulating God Himself, basically, so we can become sons, what they call in the Christian, world, sons of God, right? So because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the reason why I'm saying this, because in the physical world, if I take two objects and I bring them very close to each other like this, right? That is basically what is called, oh, those two objects are close to each other. But in the physical, in the spiritual world, we don't have objects as in the physical. We don't have that. So how can we become close to a higher power? Well, the closeness in the spiritual world is based on qualities. Okay, so if you have love, yeah, if you vibrate this love, you can say frequency. Now that is going to be that is what going to be of make you of bring you closer to the to love itself, which is God. You see, so
Yeah.
you will have to start doing, emulating the things that the Father is doing, and the occult tradition, because that is my field, occultism. Yeah, the only thing that they're trying to do is tell you how you can come to that state of mind, to that state of feeling. Yeah, so it is like transforming your mind, transforming your heart, how to do that. So they are also the how. Okay, so basically this is my whole journey, my friend, and I am sharing it with the world right now. I'm sharing it with the Dutch audience in specifically, but I'm sharing it as well with the whole world, because there are some Spanish translations on my website, but also English translations on my website. So unfortunately, I don't have too much shows in English. Only those that I got from you guys, and I'm very happy about that. So the English-speaking audience, they can go and then look for these videos as well. So I'm glad that I have this privilege and opportunity to be in your show, Alex. Axel,
Yes,
sorry.
thank you. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I see that you had two interviews with Maria West. I interviewed her a few weeks ago, and
Yeah, I have.
also
Yeah, I have a few interview with iOS because I was dealing with those times with Matrix. I don't know, with the Matrix, like the four Matrix movies.
yes,
I was digesting that for the Dutch audience as well. So, and I brought Maria into, because Maria is very well known in the field of de-traumatization, and dealing with the Matrix, and how
yes, yeah, yeah,
the Matrix is influencing our thought process and those kind of things. So I was very happy to have her on the show, and she's an awesome person, man. She's a wonderful person.
yeah, absolutely. She was. I interviewed her uh, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, at the beginning of the month. You can see my interview on YouTube and
Yeah,
other channels. The
I saw
fucking
it. Yeah.
not the fucking Nazi YouTube, they took down my video with Catherine Waters today. I have a strike
Which one? Which one with you mean
with
the Mari?
Catherine.
With Catherine, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because Catherine, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Catherine,
they
they don't
removed
like,
that shit because
yeah,
she
yeah,
was
yeah.
talking about the vaccine. Communist piece of shit that these people
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they don't want to have any negative connotation with the vaccines, those kind of things. So I have, and you know what the funny thing is, where I'm from, and um, there is I have a very good friendship with the a funeral owner, a funeral business owner. Sorry, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and I was talking to her, and this is true story. And she's saying to me, like, when we were in the period of this of this pandemic, and in a COVID situation or whatever, they have uh, like, the government comes to TV, and then they will only say, like, oh, two people died from COVID or whatever, and in the hospital. And then she says, but that's not true. She says, but why do they say only two people? Like, they are calling her almost three bodies a day, even. 3 bodies a day, right? And then they go on TV only say, oh, only 2 people died. And then that's for her alone. That's for her alone. So there are other funeral business owners
Yeah.
that they call as well. So there is way more that percentage of people, and then they don't want this to go out. They don't want it to go out. But you
Exactly.
know, yeah, but I don't even want. I don't particularly. I do talk about it more or less, but not that much. The reason why is that because that's in the world of effect. Yeah. So I am talking always about the casual world, the
The
world of causality.
causality, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Causality, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that is basically the world that where you should talk about most of the time as well, because I mean we can keep talking about the effects and talking about our opinions, but it doesn't matter. It really does not. Our opinion is not that which matters. It is our behavior and our behavior, our right behavior. Are we behaving right as a person, personally? And are we teaching others as well how to behave the right way? Because there is a right way and a wrong way of to behave, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is where my journey started. So, is there such thing as objective morality? Can I really say this is right and this is wrong? And you can do that once you understand truth. I mean, you know what truth is, Axel. But I don't know if
So
your audience, all of them knows that truth is objective as well. You know,
exactly. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people, the world most human beings are immoral
illiterate.
trash and
Yeah,
ignorant, and they are de facto Satanists. Okay, they don't know they
yeah,
are Satanists themselves.
yeah.
They're espousing the ideology of Satanism. People would think, oh,
Oh
Satanism, it's worshiping the devil.
no,
No,
it's
no,
not. No, it's not
it
that.
has
No,
nothing to do with that.
and
And it's not because we just read it from Mark Passio, or we just saying what he's saying. No, we have done our research, folks. Look at
yeah.
the world outside, what people think and their mindset.
No, look. In fact, let
You
me
know
tell
what
you
I'm saying?
something. I have. As I said to you, I was grown. I was, almost, grown in church. I mean, 50 years. You know,
Same as me. I was
yeah. So,
a
so
Catholic.
I saw, I see, and I see, I still see, I saw at that time, and I'm still seeing it right now that people that are calling themselves Christians, right? Um, they can call themselves Christians, but their behavior is the opposite of what a Christian person should be. You know,
Exactly. They are
and
Satanists. They're not. They're like,
they are basically Satanists. Yeah,
yeah.
that's not because someone else. Because apart from different, I am a true. That's why I give my lessons in Kabbalah and this kind of thing, because I am a student of the occult sciences. Yeah, because it's science. Yeah,
Yeah, science is
so
knowledge,
it's
scary and
knowledge. Yeah,
enlightening.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's nothing about religion. So it's not about following anybody. It's
yeah,
about increasing your own consciousness because
exactly,
of the love that you have for yourself.
exactly.
That's the whole thing. So if you don't love yourself, if you hate yourself, you're not going to look for knowledge. You're not going to look anywhere. And
That's
then
right.
I have, when I was like 10 years old, I have had a satanic coach as well. When I was very young. Yeah, so I have encountered a lot of these satanic coaches in my entire life, and it's the funny thing about it because all the coaches were satanic, my but I grew up in church as well, so I know how they think and how the Christians think, and I'll start to look. Hey, these guys are they're thinking similar thoughts. All of
Exactly.
them talking about their own truth. All of them are talking about their own, that that for instance that they have this notion that one way or the other that what they think that is the truth, that God doesn't exist and that the truth is not is relative to the personal experience. And
Sure.
So if you see these similarities in someone who is very satanic in mindset, very secular, if you want to use that word,
Secular, exactly.
yeah,
Atheists. Atheists
atheist,
are Satanists, de facto
yeah,
Satanists. They
yeah,
think
yeah,
they think there is no such a thing as spirituality. There is no creation. They think that it's all random. It's all about the primacy of matter. That everything is matter. There's no such a thing as a spiritual world. That man is the highest power in creation. That we get to create whatever we want. There is no such a thing as objective right or wrong. Yeah, everything is
no,
relative. That's what
yeah,
atheists are, which is
yeah,
Satanism.
they are,
Yeah,
yeah, they are de facto Satanists.
yeah,
So, and but the danger in that is that they don't even know. they don't they don't know um, that they are Satanists. That's and that is because they
exactly.
don't know. They are not they don't have the desire to change anymore either, because especially in the occult tradition, there is a progression. They call it a progression because you start desire things in life, and then for each desire, when it is filled, you will really realize that that desire at a certain point in life, it will not fill you anymore. Yeah. So up to a point that a desire to become like the creator emerges in the heart of the individual, then
Absolutely.
then the occult knowledge will become very, very useful, because then it will give you a tool to which to kind of like guide your thoughts, because it's still something that has to be experienced personally. So even though I can give you tons of explanation, it is still something that needs to happen in the individual internally. So it's a journey. Everybody has to do it on their own. The only thing we do is we help each other in that journey, like me and you. So we go, we talk about this concept, so other people can get a sense of, okay, so this is basically the direction that I have to take. You know, because at the end, it is about transforming yourself. It's transforming yourself in the image of the creator itself.
Yeah.
You have to
No.
give,
Yeah. Exactly. Not to
yeah,
be like him, but um, express, be a mini creator. Not to be like God, because that would be
not
egotistic.
not
God.
to be. What I mean is not to be God Himself, but
Exactly.
you have,
Like.
but get like Him. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
have, you just
That's right.
adopt the qualities of the Godhead, you can say.
Exactly.
So
To
so
clarify for the people, because so people will understand what Glenn is saying without
yeah,
mixing any word. That's go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
So you cannot, because you cannot be Him, but you can be
Okay,
like
so
Him. That is, yeah. So that is more like Him in terms of quality. So
exactly.
as I said, so the only way you can, go closer to any spiritual entity is to adopt the same frequency, is to adopt the same quality. Yeah, that is why you have states of mind. So you can feel one way, like you can feel very down, and you can feel very happy. So that is the reason why we have our heart, so we can feel these modes of vibration, you can call them even. Okay, so the if we want to, you know um, get love, if we want to experience love, we have to become love ourselves. So because that will bring you very closer to the frequency of love, is when you change your frequency, and then you elevate it to that same level. That is closeness in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, closeness is quality, not a matter of distance. So, and this is sometimes very difficult to understand, because we are so immersed in the physical realm. So for us to be close to somebody is to, be physically, walking from A to B. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But to be close to a spiritual world, to be close to God, for instance, you have to adopt the qualities. You have to start becoming. You have to start becoming the same. This higher self of you. Yeah. So becoming a better you, maybe is a way of expressing it even. Okay, so yeah, man. So this is how all started. It started very simple as a boy asking myself, why are people poor? Why there is so much suffering in the world? Why these things are
Exactly.
happening with us? And in fact, they are happening is because we are not taking this evolution very seriously. We are just riding
Immoral.
on.
We don't
Yeah,
understand what's right, what's wrong
yeah,
objectively.
no,
The biggest problem in the world is solipsism and moral relativism,
yeah,
relativistic mindset, thinking that everything is subjective, that your right or wrong is subjective, is based on your perception, preferences, likes,
yeah,
and whims. That is why we are fucked up. That is why
yeah.
we have governments. That's what government is based upon. It's Satanism. Is
Yes,
the
it is.
idea
Yeah,
is the idea that man is the highest power
law.
into
Yeah,
creation.
man's law is,
That
yeah,
man's law, it's what it is. That we have to abide to it. Whatever is being written in a piece of paper, we have to
yeah,
obey it. Otherwise, violence is gonna be done out
upon you.
upon
Yeah,
you. And people don't
yeah,
want to hear that the state is out there. What do you say
yeah.
about that?
Because what the reason why they are not there yet is because they cannot imagine a world without these three things, like this is government, money, and religion. So,
Absolutely,
Axel, this is what I tell people all the time, and I'm going to present the same things to your audience.
no problem.
So ask any type of person out there. You walk around in the city or whatever you walk around. You ask you present a social problem, any type of social problem to that person. So you walk around in the city, you find somebody to talk to, and then you present to that person a social problem, like, oh, this street is broken or whatever. Okay, so all the answer that you will get is always rooted in government. Oh, the government has to fix the problem,
Exactly.
or religion. Oh, God has to do it because otherwise it cannot be done. And the other one is money. Oh, we need money to fix it, otherwise it cannot be fixed. So
Exactly.
yeah,
100% true.
so it's always so just try it just for fun. I did it a few times, and it's always the same things. One of those three things is always presented, and that is because we have been indoctrinated, basically programmed to only think in that box. To only think in those three boxes.
Yeah.
So to really find the solution, and again, those three boxes only focuses on the world of the facts. Again, we're coming with the same conclusions again. So it's all about the world in the world of effects. The world of effect. It's not about the world of causality, right? So because government is, if you look at in the Western world, like Europe and America, okay, so the only thing. In general, of course, there are different grades of this thing, but in general, if you look at the European person, their thoughts and their way of thinking is mainly geared into politics. So I am from the Netherlands, right?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
normally,
you,
now I'm in Curacao, but normally I live in the Netherlands. Okay,
oh,
so
you live in the Netherlands now?
yeah, yeah, Amsterdam, yeah,
Amsterdam? Oh,
yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So normally when you talk to a Dutch person, for instance, their thoughts are mainly geared in politics. So they are very good as well at expressing their opinions about subjects, about humans affairs. Should we pay taxes or should we not pay taxes? It's not a question. We have to pay taxes, and the mind is only now focused on what are we going to do with the money that we stole from people. So that is
Exactly.
so the mind is only geared to that. So that's why
Exactly.
politics is very important. So what are we going to do with the money that we stole from people? They have this conquering idea, that taking things that don't belong to them in the first place. This mentality is also, you see it also very much in the Western world. Yeah, I don't want to say white people in general, but it's really the Western world with this
Western, yeah,
mentality.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So the more you come to the south part, like to the west, or sorry, to this to the maybe to the east, to the other parts of the world, you can say. Okay, when you start looking around and start understanding the way of thought, like where I was born in Curacao, right?
Yourself.
That is the island within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. So I was
Okay.
born in this island,
Yes,
and
yeah.
if you look around and you see how the culture is mainly geared towards religion, belief.
Exactly. Believe
Yeah,
believe in
yeah,
something. Yeah. Same thing
yeah,
in Africa. I was born in Italy, obviously, but my parents, my background is from West Africa, from the
yeah,
Ivory Coast. My
yeah.
parents are extremely religious
Religious.
people.
Yeah,
Very Catholic. I was born Catholic. I went to church until 15 years old. Then I went to
yeah,
the US with my so-called family members. Okay, they're
yeah,
religious people as well, and all that nonsense. A lot of horse shit
yeah,
inculcating your minds. Yeah, so
yeah.
I feel
Because
you what you say. I
yeah,
understand
because
what
it's
you say.
all control. It's all control,
Controlled. Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
is that is why those two can work very good with each other. Because the one thinks that he knows better and that he's allowed to take what he wants, and the other one is, oh, I cannot. I need someone to tell me what to do. I cannot do it for myself because God has to do it. You see,
Exactly.
this is the dynamic that is playing out, but it is a total disbalance of both of them. So, like the people in Africa, they are in a state of disbalance because they are believe and believe and believe. So the government tells them something, they just believe it, and then you have the Western world. This is a world of logic. This they are only focused and concentrated on the logical side of things. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be logic. I'm saying that you to be holistic in your thoughts, to
Yeah.
be a holistic human being, you have to employ both. You have to be logic and creative. You have to be
Creative,
logic.
yeah, the
Yeah,
left brain and right brain
yeah, in
together, yeah,
unison, in
combined, yeah,
unison.
unison, yeah, holistic
Yeah,
intelligence.
holistic intelligence. Yeah. So this is a concept, something that is happening, which is happening right now in the world, and it really stems from this satanic mindset. What you said, the solipsism, social relativism, these are like the first two. Then you
Yeah,
have
moral relativism, yeah,
sorry, moral relativism, social Darwinism,
social
right?
Darwinism,
And eugenics. These are like the
eugenics,
four.
the
Yeah. So
Satanism, yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah, these are like the four like main agendas of the satanic agenda, and these are like the four things, and then the vaccine falls under eugenics. It's very
Yeah,
easy
yeah, yeah,
to yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's what people
So
don't understand. That's what all the totalitarian regime throughout history is all about. That's what government is all about. The
yeah,
idea of authority vested in human beings is based
yeah,
on Satanism, out of control ego, thinking that I'm God, I have the right to rule over all the people. Say, claiming
yeah.
ownership of your body. That is slavery,
That's
ladies and
slavery.
gentlemen. Okay,
Yeah,
as soon as someone tries to claim ownership of your body, tells you what to do with your body, saying you must do this,
yeah.
or I'm gonna stop you if you do
That's
this, man.
slavery.
That is slavery.
That is
Okay,
slavery. That's
I don't care what you.
yeah.
That's slavery. That's
Now,
what happened.
this is something that I addressed in my book. Is that the problem that we have is that we look at slavery as something that is physical only. So
Exactly.
oh, I'm forcing you to do some work. That is slavery. No, 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 no. Slavery is the removal of choice. That is basically slavery.
Exactly. Well
If
done.
that's it.
Exactly.
It's
That
just a
is slavery.
removal.
Yeah.
That is slavery. There's removal of choice and the forcing of doing something that is basically the opposite of your own nature. Okay, the opposite
Exactly.
of something that you want to do. So,
The
but it is
removal
a
of free
remove.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, the removal of the free will.
Yeah.
That is slavery. So
Slavery. Yeah.
now they're not removing our let's say freedom to do my own work, but They are implanting in the mind, because now slavery is in the mind. It is
In
a
my
it is
mental slavery,
it
yeah.
is a mental slavery. Yeah. But the funny thing is that because you are mentally enslaved, indoctrinated, basically, yeah, your actions will be automatically in that square. In that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely
So you will act
correct.
automatically as a slave.
Exactly.
So the whole purpose of our show, my show, your show, is to free the mind to a certain extent that you can really start experiencing the world the way it is intended to be experienced, to be a delight, to be something that is fun, happy, something that is really enjoyable to experience. Now it's a fucking hell. Yeah. So yeah, so this is something indeed that is destroying our community, destroying our children, because people having this satanic
Exactly.
mindset, the children are becoming immoral. Like you will.
That's right, because they haven't been raised properly. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's sad.
it's very sad. Yeah, yeah,
Very sad. Absolutely, because you said it all. That's what slavery is. As soon
yeah,
as somebody coerces you to do something against your will,
yeah,
that's slavery. It's the claim.
yeah.
That's what taxation is. Taxation is the claiming of the fruit of your labor, saying
Yeah,
that you must pay what you earned.
yeah. You don't
Otherwise,
have to. You don't
violence
have to.
is you don't
No,
have to.
violence
Yeah,
upon you. Yeah, yeah.
upon you. That's
That's
what
slavery.
slavery
So
is.
I hope you have some African audience here, because when I explain this to my own culture, right? Because if I talk about Tula and Bashankapata, which is the names of the slain, the ones who fought slavery on the island for us,
Exactly. Exactly.
and I talk about these personages, these characters, characters. There are two people that really fought and they lost their life doing that. So many of us, not from school, because we have a European school system here on the island,
Yeah,
but
nonsense. They're
from,
not
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah, because, yeah. But anyway, so from the stories that you hear in the culture itself, so it's mama telling the sons, and sons telling your friends telling the lover, whatever. You tell these stories to each other. This is how the story stayed alive till this day. And when I tell the story about Tula and Bajan Karpata, everybody started to understand. They even created a film where Danny Glover played in it. It's called Tula the Revolt. You can go look for it on
Okay, I
online.
watch it. Okay, I
I
watch it.
think, yeah, you can just even watch. I think you can even download it. I don't know, but that is the story of Curacao.
So, okay.
Yeah, even Danny Glover, which is the famous American.
Musician, I think
No,
is
actor, actor,
actor. Yeah,
act,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
He's a
Danny
he's a
Glover. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Glenn Glover. He played an important role in that movie. So when I talk to the people on the island about this story, I always tell them, you have to imagine these slaves. They wake up in the morning, right? Let's say about 5 o'clock in the morning. They have to go to the field. They have to go and cultivate whatever that field is cultivating. So you have to, get the potatoes or get the sugar canes or whatever needs to be whatever that field is producing. The slaves are going to that field, getting that product, bringing it to the what they call here the shon, and the shon is kind of like the boss, the owner, your owner, right? And then they brought it to the owner, and then I asked the people here, how what is the percentage that you can keep? What is the percentage that Tula and Bajan Karpata could keep when they come home at 6? So they wake up at 5 in the morning, go back at home like 6 in the at night, right? How much of the product of their labor are they allowed to keep? And the answer is zero.
Exactly. That's
The owner takes everything.
yeah.
Okay, so and then I tell them, fast forward to 2022. Okay, you go to work.
Yeah.
You don't wake up at 5 o'clock. You wake up, let's say 8 o'clock, or you go to work at 8 o'clock. You come back at 5 or
Yeah.
at 6, doesn't matter, or even later.
Okay.
When you go home, there is no owner or boss waiting for you there. That is what changed. But
Exactly.
what did not change is at the end of the month, right? The taking always takes place. So now they,
Okay.
instead of taking 100%, they take 40%,
Which is
50%.
slavery. Still
And
slavery,
then,
yeah?
and then, and then, like one, because they don't understand that there is a principle that needs to be understood. That's why in the causal factor, it needs to be addressed.
Exactly.
Because if
Now
you
what?
look at the physical thing, you say, oh, in the physicality, I can go work on the field, right? And
Yeah.
I can go back home to my boss and he takes everything. Oh, that's slavery. And but I don't understand why people cannot understand that working and then the government taking your share, that that's not slavery.
It's
I,
still slavery. They claiming
it,
ownership. The
yeah,
people
it's
are
claiming of
dumb.
ownership.
They
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah, just
understand.
dumb. Yeah, just dumb. Yeah. So the idea is not the percentage, ladies and gentlemen. The
Exactly.
idea is the principle. And then in
Principle.
is the principle. It is, and then you have to start understanding and um, recognizing patterns. And this is where the occult comes in. So the occult knowledge, the occult understanding is just a set of symbols, a set of information that helps the individual understand patterns, correlations. You see what I mean? You
Correlation.
see how it goes?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and then in doing so, it will help you defining your way of thinking. So that is the reason why you have to go deep in. You have to dig in deep, and it takes, and then you have to pay with the spiritual currency, not with bullshit money, because bullshit money you is bullshit. It is worthless even. The real money in creation, the real money is attention.
That's
The
right.
attention, that is the currency, the spiritual currency. If you want anything in life, anything, the higher worlds will give it to you if you put your attention to it, if you focus. That is this currency. That's the payment. Even if you're not doing it consciously, because many of us are putting our attentions unconsciously to things that we should. So life will going to give you that bullshit that you give your attention to. So if you,
Exactly.
yeah, so if you only look at the news, or if you only look at Netflix or whatever the fuck you're looking at all the time, that is what you're going to get back in life. Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
then you
right.
will feel, yeah, and then you will feel a sense of emptiness, a sense of, that is also more or less part of the plan, because that feeling of emptiness should, I don't know if it happens with everybody, it should push you forward to for more, to look more, to say, oh, okay, I want more knowledge, I want to understand higher things, I want to, this is where it starts. People are not interested in truth. We don't give a fuck about truth.
Absolutely.
It is easier to sit in your home watching TV and thinking, oh, what I think, that's truth. That's solipsism. What I
Exactly.
imagine in my mind, that's truth. And they will have a lot of problems in life. They will encounter a lot of problems in life. And it will become, and a lot of pain and suffering. They suffer, they have pain. Some of them don't even understand why they suffer and why they have pain. So that is
So
because,
same thing, yeah,
yeah,
with my own parents
yeah,
and, and my so-called family. Yeah, the bunch of egotistic people that thinking that they know something when in point of fact they're dumb as dog shit. They're
yeah, they're
ignorant.
dumb.
They do
Yeah,
not. They know nothing. You can see them. They
yeah,
think they think they are free. They think they are happy. When in
but
point
they're
of fact
not.
they're not,
Yeah,
because they
and
haven't
they,
done the shadow work.
yeah, but that's also satanic, basically. If you
Exactly.
really think, if you are in a state of slavery, and basically you say, oh, but I am free because I can move. But most of the time, the things that we call freedom is basically liberal. Liberal and freedom are not the same. Liberal, we are now liberal. Yeah, that's why you have the parties, Democrats, Republics, and then you have conservative and liberal. Okay,
Exactly.
so the idea of liberal, to be liberal, is I used to walk in 1 square meter. Now, through the laws of man, they allow you to walk now in 2 square meter. So your walking is brother, you can go further. And
Exactly.
then because you can go further, you can move more than before. It will give you the illusion that now you are free.
It's a
But
permission. You ask
yeah,
for permission. That's
you
what
have to ask.
liberty is. Yes.
That is what liberal liberty is. You have to ask for freedom, true
Free.
freedom, absolute freedom. That is anarchy. That
Anarchy.
is,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, that is what anarchos mean. That is what my book is all
Anarcho.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
anarchos is the Greek word for anarchy, right?
Anarchy.
Yeah, and then if you don't know what anarchy means anarchos. Archos means
Anarchon. No.
ruler,
No. Yeah. No.
no
No
ruler.
rulers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Therefore, no slaves. That's what
no
anarchy
slave.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but we need to understand there are rules
There are
and
rules.
responsibility.
Exactly.
So this anarchic state can only come with the rules and the we call it responsibility. So we will have to agree as a person. We will have to agree certain things. You're not forced to go to do it. But if you don't want to do it, you just remove yourself from that and you do something else. No problem. Yeah. But the idea is not forcing. Yeah. But to have an understanding between us, we need to establish some rules, some agreements, so we can, you know, as a group, focus into one specific goal. Yeah, that is what I'm dealing with in my book as well. So I just give the people, basically my sons, some um, ideas of how they should start the thinking process, how they should think, because that is the most important thing. How are we going to solve our anarchic state? How are we going to be dealing with each other in a state of anarchy? Right? Is a thing that we all have to share. We all have to think about, as long as we don't force each other. That's the thing. So we have to start thinking about technology of being a part of our lives that will help us, achieve even more freedom, experience even more, and making it possible to live with each other. You see what I'm saying? So it's a good thing. Freedom is, but we are afraid of freedom. Most of us are afraid of
Because
true
it comes because
responsibility.
responsibility. Exactly. And you
It
have
comes
to
with
be
this.
responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah. So because let's take it from the Christian perspective, right? Because many of us were Christian, who listen to the podcast as well, are Christians or were Christians or whatever. I still consider myself an esoteric Christian, to be honest,
Me
because
too. I same as
I
well.
yeah, because I want to develop my qualities as a Christ-like being. So that's called esoteric Christianity. Okay, so what is what I wanted to what we were talking about. I just lost my train of thought, mate, Axel. We were
No
talking
problem.
about
No problem.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, but we were talking about this. What were we talking about before?
Let's bring it to the Christian perspective when it comes to freedom. That's what you want to talk about.
Oh yeah. So the when it comes to freedom, okay. So the Christians really think, they really do think that, oh, I can just say, oh, Christ, come live in my life, and the prayer, the Christ prayer, yeah, come live in my life, take away my sins, blah blah blah, and then they go about with their lives. So they say that they feel good about it. They have this feeling inside that is satisfying, and then they go about and do precisely what they did yesterday. Most of them. Now, people don't change very, very, very quickly as we think we do, right? And they go and then create problems for themselves because they are still satanic and they are still immoral. Nothing
Exactly.
changed. Nothing changed
Exactly.
internally in them except a feeling of good, that I'm now in the kingdom of God. That's the only thing that has changed. The idea that now, before they were not in the kingdom of God, and now they are in the kingdom of God somehow, somewhere. And then they can do whatever they want, and then if they do something wrong, they can just ask for forgiveness and then keep doing whatever the fuck they were doing. Yeah. And then creating problems for themselves. That's what we have all around us. A lot of problems that human beings have caused and created. And then
Exactly.
expect that God will come down in a physical form and fix it. And
This
then
is
not only that, the Christ will come down, sit in Israel, physical Israel, rule us as a king in terms of slavery. And then you ask yourself, oh, is God a God of slaves? Is that the God that you are worshiping? Isn't that Satanist?
exactly. That's what it is. This is people. This is what selfish and little children think. They think
Yeah,
about themselves. They think someone older than yourself is gonna come and rescue from your fucking stupidity and
yeah,
mistakes and suffering. You have to
yeah,
do it on yourself through knowledge and
yeah.
activate your will and power
And
and
power. Yeah,
put that in action. That's
yeah,
how you end the system of slavery and you stop
yeah,
causing problems. Period. And
yeah.
of God
Period.
coming and doing it for you.
Nope. God is not going to come down. It's not going to fix. I mean, I give this example all the time. I say I have kids and they messed up their room.
Yeah.
Are you going to clean up their room all the time? And then when they grow up, you're going to keep cleaning their room?
Yeah.
No, there will be a point in time that will say, okay, enough is enough. Learn to clean your own fucking damn room, right? Become an adult. So if you still believe in Christ, and that's baby. That is, oh, God is going to do it for me, baby. All right. The moment you start becoming an adult is the moment you start taking responsibility from your own actions. That's how it works, and there's not any work any other way, any other way. And everybody who's listening, and also everybody who's not listening, even all of us needs to go through the process, and all of us has to pay a price for advancement, and that price is attention. You have to focus. You have to focus. You don't have any choice, right? And that is why it is so difficult for people as well, because it is better to look at Netflix than to go dig yourself into a fucking book. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? That's the problem, man. That is the real problem. That is the laziness to dig deeper into concepts. And to I do all these things. I start my morning all very early. I sometimes give myself a cup of coffee. I drink a cup of coffee, and the first thing I do is start in the books. Now I just got a iPad, and then get yourself a instead of subscribing to Netflix alone. I'm not saying Netflix is not good, or of course they're not nothing good, but sometimes you have to give yourself a little bit of relaxed time. I get it. But get yourself a subscription at Scribe D. I have Scribe D. I don't know if you have, you heard about it. It's Netflix for books and documents, and there's a lot of occult information in there, a lot. And then I just take my iPad, open my Scribe D app, and I start to read. The whole day I'm busy, the whole day, because I have to not only for myself understand first how I can bring this transformation internally, how the ancients were talking about these concepts. This was good. And then when I know I have this knowledge and I can have a system of knowledge, a getting a diagnosis of everything, of a complete knowledge of the matter, now I can start really thinking about real solutions.
That's right.
Yeah. Because if we don't understand that we are free, inherently free when we are born, that's the problem. We don't understand that. We think that we have owners.
Exactly. We're not supposed to have fucking owners. We
No,
are sovereign beings. That's what
we are sovereign
God
beings.
and creation wants us to be free
Yeah.
and sovereign, not to be fucking enslaved or ruled by pedophile piece of shit kings and presidents and
Not that
ruling
shit.
class. You know
No,
what I'm
no.
saying? That's what people need to understand. And
That
they
is
don't want to
that's
hear that.
they don't want. They don't. No, they don't. They don't, because we are inherently a sovereign individuals, And this is something as well with the Christians that I always say, how do you think it's going to be possible to create a kingdom with only kings? Because in Revelation, they say that Christ will establish a kingdom with kings. How in fucking earth are you going to achieve that? Because in the current way of thought, a king is one person deciding over every fucking body else. So
Exactly.
if everybody's a fucking king, so how who is going to be the subject? You see? So how can you get a kingdom of kings and queens? How do you do that? Because that is what the Bible is saying and telling us. Because that is God, thank God, one part of the Bible that was not corrupted. And what it means is that kingship upon the self. You are king
Your
upon
eternal
your,
monarch. Yeah,
yeah, you
exactly.
are internal monarch. So it is, so you are a sovereign being, and
Exactly.
the kingdom is the anarchy kingdom. Is a kingdom where there is no ruler, and basically you can say natural law is our guide. It will tell us how we should behave, right? And this is how it works. This is how. So if we can, I can imagine a world without government, money, and religion. I can imagine it.
Exactly.
That was a product of my book. That's anarchos, right? I can imagine a world without these entities, these institutions, right? And that will tell you as well that your third eye is open. If you can imagine a world without these three things, then your third eye is starting to become open. Then it is open, even I would say. Yeah. So how can we manage the problem of money? Maybe. No. Well, for starters, we have Bitcoin, but we are fucking it up as well. So government is taking that over.
Yeah,
Now you have to give
cryptocurrency,
cryptocurrency.
decentralized. Yeah, we
Yeah,
not
we
we
fucked it
don't
up as
need
well.
central. Yeah,
It is still fiat currency because it's still bullshit. But that is a step in the right direction, and we are fucking it up. We are fucking it up because we are like attaching it to the centralized monetary system.
system. Yeah,
Yeah, because we are talking about how much dollar is a Bitcoin worth. What the fuck? It's not meant for that, right? So and then so that is the problem. We have these technologies, but we don't have the consciousness for it. You get it, Axel? So we
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
People are walking around. We don't have the consciousness for it, and that is the real problem. So the first thing is getting the consciousness up. It's like giving a child a gun, right? So you're gonna if you keep messing around with a gun, it will kill you.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So imagine a world without government, without religion, and without money. If you can do
Exactly.
that, this is where our energy and our thinking process should start going towards. And I'm giving you in my own show, Axel. I'm giving the Dutch community tools so we can start doing that.
Exactly.
And hopefully people from Africa and all over the world. I want this to be a world event, a world thing. Start thinking
Exactly.
about how we can create our culture without having these pedophiles, which like you said, these pedophiles, Satanists, and these
Evil people, yeah, they think themselves as God, but they're nothing of a kind. You're
no,
not
they're not.
God, okay?
They're nothing. They're
You're
nothing.
you're just a human being like everybody else. They think
Yeah.
that you think you to be God, but you're not God, okay?
No.
Okay?
In fact, if you talk to many of these people, you will laugh. I mean, I'm going to give you an example. When I see,
Trash.
yeah, when I see like the King of Holland in his because sometimes they still have this
Exactly.
this I think it's called mantle. This kind of like this Superman cape, like
Oh, the
capish kind
cave,
of.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So when they see when I see the king having escaped, you know how psychopathic you have to be to put that shit on. So to really think that you are like that you decide the future of the whole fucking country one way or
Yeah,
the other.
it's
You know how
because people,
psychopathic.
yeah.
You know how psychopathic you have to be. I don't understand why people don't see that. So you can
Exactly.
put a crown on your head. You know how psychopathic you have to be
Can you
to
believe this shit?
can you
Thinking
believe it?
People get who think themselves as king, queens,
Yeah,
and God, the president of the United States, whatever, what doesn't matter whether he's a Republican or Democrat.
it
We're all
doesn't
the
matter.
same.
No. Yeah,
Thinking of themselves as God or the authority, or yeah, we have the right to rule over the people. A dumb bags of shit called human beings. And
these are.
they worship this. Oh yeah, he's our king. Yeah, he's our president. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to buy down. We need to bow down to this.
No, you never
Uh,
buy down. No,
you don't. I am buy down to you,
ever. You know,
motherfucker.
why should you? Yeah,
You are my God, or you are my king. You are a
nothing.
moral trash. That's what you
Yeah,
are. You belong to
yeah.
the ground, son. That's how you should tell them.
Yeah, you belong to trash basically. But the
Trash.
idea, but I do want to approach the world in love.
That's like,
However, that is my approach. This is how I do it. I always come in good faith and I always approach everybody with the same respect, and I give the same respect, and I expect the same respect back. I always do that. I don't mess around with that. The only difference is that the moment others people start to think that they have the right to force me to anything, then you'll get the worst of me, because then
exactly.
I am in my right. I am in my right to defend myself. So nobody can tell me anything different than that. I'm not
Exactly.
going to call the cops. I'm not going to call none of these fucking entities because it's a joke,
Yeah,
right?
they're not doing anything
They
anyway.
will
That's
come
the
after the
trash.
facts. So they'll
Exactly.
always come. They cannot prevent anything. They always come after the facts. They
Exactly.
always come after the facts.
Always.
They cannot do anything based on their own laws. They cannot do anything if nothing happens in their laws that is telling them to do something in the first place. And then,
Absolutely, yes.
so basically, so if nothing happens, if no accident happens, if no rapes happens, if nothing happens, they will not be there. They're not going to be there. It is so they always come after the fact. So why should I, you know? And then they are fighting with you, or maybe they even want to kill you. What are you going to do? You're going to call the cops? What the fuck?
Exactly.
So it's not going to work like that. So life is not going to be like that in general. The true life is not going to be like that. I'm going to tell you even something even more blatant, even more. People say this guy is even more crazy. I would even say they are not even allowed to incarcerate people. That is immoral. That is
Exactly.
that is immoral. That is taking people's freedom. Yeah, yeah, but they were immoral. That's why they were there, and then they were judged. You say, these people are basically the result of our immorality. We
Absolutely correct,
our
brother.
immorality.
100% true. And the
Yeah,
community needs to deal with these people
you have to
themselves.
deal with these people. Yeah,
Exactly.
because we have rejected morality, we have rejected objective truth. That is because that's why they are there. We as a species have renounced truth, and then now we want to kind of like what we are doing is basically trying to um, cooling the heat a little bit. You just cool the heat. You just because it's burning hot, but you're trying to cool it off. But you're not changing your behavior. You're not changing the way you are. So it's our responsibility to deal with these people, right? So everybody should have a way to defend themselves. That is what the Second Amendment is all about in America, right? They're trying to remove that from the Americans as well.
Second, which
Yeah,
ain't
they
gonna
said
happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. No, I don't. To be honest, it's not going. Not.
Too
But there are
many guns. I
yeah, there's
live
too many.
there. Yeah,
And not only that. I mean, the underworld is packed with arms. The
exactly. They're not
underworld
gonna do it.
is they're not going to do that. The underworld all over the place. So it's not about what do you think that the criminal is not going to have a gun? Is that the people think? If you're thinking that, you're naive idiot. You are, because you cannot expect, because you don't have that the criminals will not have. You see, so and this is the problem that you see as well in America. So they say no, we're not going to give up that right because the criminals still are able to get it. So immoral people, this is the problem. Immoral people have guns, and
Exactly.
most of the moral people don't have guns. We
Exactly.
need more dangerous, good people. So if you're listening to me, we need more dangerous, good people. Because everyone that has guns and everybody that has these things, most of them cops and military, all these people, most of them criminals, they're all immoral, and then they have
Exactly.
guns.
Exactly. And why shouldn't the population have gun? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's
So,
ridiculous.
so if you ask me, I'm all for the Second Amendment. I'm all
Yeah.
for it. I mean, if in America, I mean, if some American, I mean, sometimes I talk to some friends in America. I say, sorry guys, but I am pro. I would wish I would have the privilege that you
Same
guys have.
thing.
Yeah, I would wish.
Absolutely. Here in
God.
here in the UK, people have their butt clipped off. They have one of the strictest gun laws in Europe here in England.
Yeah,
Very few.
it's
It's so rare. I tried to apply for a gun license to have. I wanted to buy myself an MMP,
you can.
Smith and Wesson battle rifle,
Yeah,
1522 battle rifle, semi-automatic.
yeah. They
You
don't.
can't do it. They say you're
No.
not allowed because you go to jail. All that nonsense.
Yeah, all that nonsense. Yeah, because they want to keep control. They want to keep control.
Control.
And
That's the
how much?
result.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then the beauty of it for them is that if you cannot defend yourself, they can shoot you, and then you don't have
Exactly.
any. Yeah.
That's
So
what's
this
gonna
is
happen very soon now.
at the end. That
People
is.
have no
Yep.
idea in Europe
That's the
what's gonna
problem.
happen.
Yeah. So they think the military is there to protect them, and the cops are there to protect them. The cops are there, and the military are there to keep the people in power in power. So to protect
Exactly.
the government, and then
Exactly.
look at the beauty of the system. And I would say, if you don't see this, that is because you are so you are with your head so much up your ass you cannot even see how you pay taxes. So basically, when you pay for a service, the service has to come to the one that pays for it, right? So
Yeah.
basically, if you pay for let's say a food, you're buying a potato or whatever, you get the potato so you can consume it, right? Now, now you are paying for the cops through your taxes. You are paying for the cops through your taxes. But when you disagree with the government, who are these cops and military are going to defend? Most of the time, they are defending the government. So
Exactly.
now you pay for something, so they are fucking you in the ass. You're paying for something, you don't even use
Exactly. They're laughing at you.
it.
These people are laughing at you
They're,
for being dumb. You pay the
you're,
taxes, and this is what they're doing to you. These
yeah,
people
you're paying for your own
can't use their
enslavement.
mind.
They can, they can. You are paying for your own enslavement. You're not paying for security. If you, and this is why where it comes in the occult that they say stop lying to yourself, stop living in
Exactly.
fantasy, because we are lying to ourselves. Oh no, the cops are going to defend us. The cops are going to be there for us. Yeah, yeah. It can be one like if some people fighting, like two people fighting with each other, and then they come there and say, oh, no, you don't have to fight, but somebody else can say the same shit as well. I mean,
Exactly.
you don't need these entities, these people in general. You don't need them. We don't need them. Yeah. But we think we do, and that's the problem. We think that authority is legitimate. That's the problem. So,
Yeah,
Alex.
absolutely. I have one more question. Yeah, we talk about all this. I've done a video about astrotheology on
Yeah.
YouTube, and I put that. I explain people how these Satanists, are high level Satanists, are dark occultists. It's a priest
Yeah.
class who run this planet, who hold all the knowledge about the occult, how the human mind
Works.
works, and
Yeah.
the laws of creation, everything, all that technology, how everything really works. They are very knowledgeable. We have to
Yeah.
give them credit for this.
Yeah. I
And
do.
And also, they're the ones who co-opted the tradition of Christianity. Okay, they transformed this figure
The
of
sun.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They turned it into the solar cult of
Yeah.
Sol Invictus of the Roman Empire, by the
Yeah.
which was installed by the Piso family and the Flavian dynasty. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
People don't know that. A lot of Christians don't know that. That's why you
Yeah.
go.
This is the beauty of, yeah, that's a nice question, man. Yeah, that's true. I did a podcast about religion as well, but it's in Dutch, and I did talk about astrotheology the same way you did. And yeah, that there are three basically basic cults: the cult of the sun, the cult of the moon, and the cult of the stars. And the beauty
Exactly.
of it, yeah, and the beauty of it is that those three cults are manifested right now through Christianity to Islam. That's why Islam, you can say its logo, its symbol is a moon, because
The Crescent moon, yes.
that's a crescent moon, yeah.
The Crescent moon, yes, yes.
You have the cult of the stars and lesser lights, they call it. That is manifested right now through Judaism. And that's why you
Judaism,
have the
yeah.
David Star. The David
Yeah.
Star. It's a star.
David
It's a
Star,
star.
that's right, that's
The
right.
David Star, and then you have the cult of the Sun, which is then the Christianity, which is now manifested in form of the Christian religion. Okay, so that's the cross of the zodiac, basically. That's what you see is the cross of the zodiac, and then you have the crescent moon, and that's why you have Christ having 12 disciples, because he visits the 12 basically the 12 rooms of the 12 constellations, the 12
That's right.
houses of the zodiac. It visited them. And so basically Christianity is full of allegories of this solar cult, basically.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, and many Christians they don't want to see. I think they want to keep living in this world of fantasy because it's working for them. If I can just do something wrong and just ask forgiveness and keep doing it anyway, that
That's
for
right.
them
They
is
lying to
really,
themselves. That's right.
yeah, they're just lying to themselves. They just want to keep doing the same shit as long as
That's right.
it feels comfortable. So yeah, so this is a so basically relate, but however, there is a central message that I do think it's very important for us to understand, that this, especially the solar cult, is conveying, is giving us. And in the essence, I mean, you don't have to believe. I mean, the ancients, the real occultists, the ancients, they were not believing in Christ as the way we do it right now.
Exactly.
They're
It
not
was
doing it. They don't. They wasn't like that. The way they look at religion was as a tool to guide the consciousness, which is a system that failed us. It failed us then, and it's failing us now more than ever, I even believe. So, but they did understand that the light of every individual is dead. We don't care anymore. So our light is dead. It is how life is killing the light of our creator, the desire of of becoming better.
yeah.
So that is being killed, because the moment you will be start becoming a robot, wake up in the morning, do your job, come back, they steal from you through taxes, and then you go back in the morning, you work, and then unable to pay everything, unable to even provide for yourself, for your family, those kind of things. If you have if you go through that cycle over and over again, your light, your creativity is gone, because how difficult it is to do something that you really like if you are in that cycle. It becomes very
Agree.
difficult. Yes, but very difficult to develop the creative side of you. It's very difficult. You don't have time. You are tired. You don't have time. You see, so the light is killed. So now there has to be a willful effort to revive it, to bring it up, to resurrect it. That is what the whole story of the Christ really is about. That Christ died, that light of the world is dead, and we have to
Exactly.
resurrect it. And then
Exactly.
that's it.
That's what
So
I talk about in my video, 1 hour and 8 minute video, astrotheology. Very
yeah,
interesting video.
yeah, yeah.
But great, great,
This,
great, great interview. Very well spoken, very knowledgeable person that you are. I really enjoyed the interview. Tell real quick the people where they can find you, where they can find your work.
oh yeah, Axel. You can find my work in www.thegreatworkexperience.com. That is where you find my articles, my podcasts. You will find a link to my book. There you can find as well my videos that I have. They are in Dutch though, my videos and my podcast. But on the article section, you will have Spanish and English translations. And I hope in the near future I can start even putting scripts, maybe even transcripts of the podcast. I don't know. It's when you are doing the great work, Axel, it's a lot of work. So
I'm planning
it's
to
a lot
do
of
many things. I have many projects. I'm
yeah.
probably start creating my own website and doing many projects. I'm thinking about interviewing a lot of content creators. So
Yeah,
much
that's
things,
good. That's good.
a lot of presentation.
I'm glad hearing that I'm hearing that because there are more people have to engage in this work
Exactly. We need
more
to
and
end
more.
this evil system, quite
It
frankly.
has to stop. It has to
Has
stop
to
as soon
stop.
as possible. And then we have you can find me of course as well at One Great Work Network.
Absolutely.
I am one of those speakers. That's why I know Maria as well.
Maria.
I have a very great experience with Mario West, and and you can also find me on Facebook on the Pika Pika Talk Show. You can really, you have, yeah, Pika Pika Talk Show. That's called PIKA of Apple. Is the P of Peter, I of Isaac, K of I don't know, K, and then A of Apple. So
Very good.
Pika Pika, like it means hot, hot,
Hot.
hot.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, Pika
yeah.
Pika. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Pika Pika is hot talk show.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
where I have where this platform gave me this opportunity to share occult knowledge to the world, where I discuss, of course, government, enslavement, where I talk about religious enslavement and money enslavement. Yeah. So so these are like the three basic things. I have my I'm trying to put my material as much as possible on a platform where they don't censor. So Odyssey is my platform that I go to most of the time. I'm trying to find other platforms, semi Odyssey-ish kind of a platform that don't censor
BitChute is
materials.
another one good.
BitChute, yeah, I'm trying to, yeah, I'm working on that BitChute, but Odyssey you will find me, and
Great.
and you can download my RSS feed, which is a file that if you have a podcast listener, you can just download it. If I have a new podcast, it will automatically show in your podcast listening, in your podcast software. Yeah, and you can find me on YouTube. You will find me on YouTube, which but I think I have some Dutch and some Papiamento. Papiamento is kind of like a Creole language
Creole.
of,
Oh,
yeah, from
Creole. Oh,
yeah, for us here in the Caribbean. So I talk Papiamento because I talk four languages:
wow.
Dutch, Papiamento, yeah, English and Spanish. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then I have to. So I'm trying to service all these type of cultures, and the Dutch culture, my own culture. Trying to service the Spanish culture. I'm not. I don't do it a lot for the English one because there's a lot of English teacher that I know of who's doing great job like you. Is doing great
Thank you.
great
Thank
job.
you.
So I prefer, like, do you guys are doing a great job already? So just go on, and so yeah, so on YouTube you will find some materials of me, and yeah, so you can just put my name, Glenn Tram, and you can get it. Or otherwise, the greatworkexperience.com will be the place to go for everything. So I have everything there. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Glenn. It was a pleasure to have you on the interview on the show. I'm gonna pause the recording here. Yeah.